Good morning and welcome to the Annual General Meeting 2022 for Healthwatch Norfolk. I'd like to thank you all for attending, and I'd like to issue my apologies for having to reorganise the way that we hold this AGM at short notice yesterday due to the high temperatures. Because of this, we're now hosting the event from the offices of Healthwatch Norfolk just outside Wymondham. And we do have some slight broadband problems, so again, apologies if there's any loss of picture or sound, but this is being recorded, so you will be able to catch up at a later date. I'd just like to run through the agenda for this reduced and formal AGM. We will first of all go through apologies for absence, and then we will deal with the minutes of the AGM held in 2021. We will then do a quick overview of the Healthwatch and Trustees report, followed by the financial statement, and we will approve the accounts, or we will register the accounts which were approved by the trustees yesterday. Finally, we will go to a review of 2021-2022 by our Chief Executive, Alex Stewart, and last but by no means least, we will invite questions from the general public. And there will indeed then finally be any other business, at which point we will draw the event to a close. I would just like to record my appreciation, first of all, for you all for joining, and secondly, to the staff and volunteers and my fellow board members for all the hard work that they have all put in during my first year as chair of this amazing organisation. I particularly wanted to become chair of Healthwatch, partly because of the importance of the work that this organisation does, but also because I had some knowledge of the key members of staff who work here. And because of that, I was very keen to take over the role, and my impressions have in no way been reduced by my first year in office. I'm deeply impressed by the work that has been put in through challenging times, admittedly, during the lockdown and as we come out of the lockdown. And I'm so grateful for all the hard work that everybody has put in the last 12 months. And I look forward with great enthusiasm to the year ahead, as we will hear more about from Alex later on. So at that point, I will just ask if we have any apologies for absence. Just for the record, that's David Trevanian, Kelly Sumner, and Natasha Hayes. Thank you very much indeed. And so if I now proceed with the minutes of the AGM held in 2021, which for those of you who are joining us online, you can see on screen. And they were very full minutes. Thank you very much indeed for them. And do we need to have somebody propose and second them? So may I have a proposer from one of my fellow trustees? Proposed by, I can see David Trevanian is joining us online. David, thank you for proposing the minutes. And seconded, I can see one other trustee, Linda Bainton. Thank you very much indeed. So the minutes are accepted, and we will now proceed with the overview of Healthwatch and the trustees report. Sorry, can we just go straight to the financial statement? Judith, if you'd like to come and take my place.
Norfolk annual accounts to the year ended 31st of March 2022 have been independently examined by Julie Grimmer of Larkin Gowan LLP, Chartered Accountants, in accordance with Part 4 of the Charities Accounts and Reports Regulation 2008, and these accounts were also approved by our Board of Trustees at their board meeting yesterday. This year's accounts show that total income for the year was £553,721 compared to £465,317 in the previous year, which is up by £88,404. Total expenditure was £547,899, which was £87,279 more than the previous year, resulting in a net surplus for the year of £5,822. And therefore, funds carried forward were £410,296 compared to £404,474 in the prior year. 62% of the income has come from our core funding from Norfolk County Council via the Department of Health. And I wish to thank our colleagues from Norfolk County Council for their continued support, not only financially, but also in the partnership working that we enjoy with them. In the previous year, the core funding made up 75%. So I feel it's worth noting that the number of externally commissioned projects is increasing for us here at Healthwatch. We recognise that there is a great deal of work to be done to listen to the people of Norfolk and ensure that their views are heard as decisions are made that will shape the new integrated care service. Statutory funding is not enough, and we will therefore continue to seek further commissions in a not-for-profit commercial fashion to ensure the voice of the public is brought forward. Full copies of the accounts are available on request and will be shortly published with both the Charity Commission and Companies House. Does anyone online have any questions? Okay, then I will pass over to Alex to present the next section.
Thank you. Moving on, and thank you to both Patrick and Judith for their kind words so far. I kind of feel that none of this could have actually happened without the real dedication of an incredible team of people that we work with. And my heartfelt thanks go out to them, as well as the volunteers and our and trustees who ably give their time at the board. As a brief overview, and all of this will be in the annual report, but we reached out and had over 2,033 reviews. We had 823 general inquiries to our website. The team managed to produce 16 full reports, ranging from studies around homeless people accessing services to people who don't have English as a first language and how they access services. That report has actually been used in the Select Committee in the Houses of Parliament and in the Houses of Lords, and is cited in a report from the Department of Health and Social Care. During COVID, we undertook some research into how people access their cancer services. People on the whole were very pleased with the way that the acute trusts had endeavoured to make things as accessible as possible for people by having a range of activities, from being using a telephone through YouTube and various other ways of using technology appropriately. One of the main things that has affected people in Norfolk over the last 18 months or 2 years has been access to dentistry services. We are pleased to report that there are 2 new dentists that are opening or have opened in Norfolk this year. But needless to say, that isn't enough, and we will continue to pursue with NHS England and our colleagues at the Integrated Care Commission to further that cause. During COVID, people were overwhelmed with information, and one of the things we tried to do was make information as accessible as possible. Hopefully, people will agree that we've succeeded in that too. We also undertook work around issues facing older people and the sort of problems that they experience with domestic violence. It's very hidden, especially in rural communities, as was highlighted recently by the Duchess of Cornwall. Mental health is another big issue within Norfolk, and we are involved with the Mental Health Transformation Board, and we're actually undertaking some specific studies around mental health, schizophrenia, access to services for children with eating disorders. It would be remiss of me not to mention the work that volunteers do. They gave up 150 days of their valuable time over the last year. And without them, we would also be failing our general public. Moving forwards, on the 1st of July, we saw the advent of the integrated care system, of which we are already a part, and we will be feeding into the integrated care board. Finally, our priorities for 2022-23 are continuing to ensure health and social care services are fully accessible, working with communities who we've not heard from in the past, and accessing the impact of COVID and ensuring any lessons learned are implemented. I'd now like to hand back to the Chair for his final remarks.
Alex, thank you very much indeed. And it is indeed, we do have a lot to look forward to in 2022-2023. May I also thank Judith for presenting the accounts and for all her studious work during the year to keep the organisation on track, etc., etc. I'd just like to inquire now whether we have any questions from the general public. I'm looking to my colleagues to see if we have any questions. No, we have no questions from the general public. But as I said at the beginning, we had intended, obviously, to make this a very interactive session held in the forum with colleagues from representatives of the integrated care system. And we very much hope and intend that we will run that session later on in the year, when we will hope to welcome members of the general public and obviously those who are interested in the integrated care system and the role of Healthwatch in being a critical friend. We look forward to welcoming you to that event later on in the year. So with that, I will just look around the room and ask if anybody has any other business. No? Well, may I close by saying once again a huge thank you to my fellow trustees, a huge thank you to the staff of Healthwatch Norfolk and to the volunteers, and my gratitude to the enthusiasm which everybody is showing towards the future of the integrated care system. We do have tremendous opportunities going forward, but it is going to require us all to be open with each other and to collaborate and to continue to do the very best for every patient in Norfolk and Waveney. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for attending. Thank you to the technical team who've made this possible today. And with that, I'd like to bring this annual general meeting of Healthwatch Norfolk 2022 to a close. Thank you very much.